please comment if you can see me, hear me, so that we can start. Anyone joining, please comment if you can hear me, see me. Please comment if you can hear, see me. We will start in 2-3 minutes time. Can you please comment if you can see me or hear me, so that we can start? I guess we can begin. Let people join. So today we are going to cover Venus transit and how Venus transit can function in the various houses or various signs. I know that I said that this session will be about Jupiter transit, but Venus is one of the transits of lesser days. So I was just thinking that if we can cover up all these transits of a smaller duration, then we can take all the transits of longer duration all together. Means we will be left with Jupiter, Saturn, Rahu and Ketu. These are longer transits of about 1.5 to 1 year or 2.5 years. So if we complete this one, we will be left with all the main transits, which are actually responsible for all the major events to happen. Then again, I would repeat that any result which is shown by Dasha and transit should be first visible in your birth chart. If your birth chart doesn't promise an event, then it is a very rare possibility that it will be shown during, it will manifest during Dasha or transit. Like someone doesn't have any good yoga for property, then although his 4th house Dasha may activate, although his Mars Dasha may activate, transits may happen, but as birth chart itself doesn't have any scope for property or ownership, this person may not actually have a property. So first of all, the event should be seen from should be seen from birth chart, then Dasha, then transit. Then again, the concept of who, how, what, and where should be understood before we try to interpret any transit. It means in which house, which sign, which planet is doing what. So I have posted the relevant articles for today's session, that is meaning of Venus transit and concept of who, how, what and where. It is very important to know that how a planet will react in a specific sign in a specific house altogether. It is easy to interpret Venus in Cancer, Venus in third house, but how to interpret Venus in Cancer in third house? This concept uh, is explained in detail in this article. So anyone who hasn't gone through it may like to go through it before understanding these sessions of transit. So now we are up to Cancer ascendant. In first three four sessions we have covered up to Gemini ascendant. Now we are in Cancer ascendant. For Cancer ascendant, Venus rules your fourth house and the 11th house. Fourth house with Libra sign and 11th house with Taurus sign. What it shows that there is a link between fourth house and the 11th house. It means that normally, in generally, a Cancer ascendant person may have his gains and earning coming from his hometown, mother, or a real estate property. Okay. As 11th house is also 8th from the 4th. So it is like death of benefit of 4th house. It shows that for their gains, for their earning and income, they may have to go far away from their homeland to make some gains in life. 11th house is 8th from the 4th. So it is death of the homeland, death of the benefits of the homeland. So they may have to go far away from their homeland to make their earnings and income. This is the connection which is normally seen when same planet rules two houses. So it makes a link between the two houses. Now Venus rules. Venus itself represents a relationship, wealth, luxury, beauty, and any type of convenience of life. It may be vehicles, it may be your musical instruments. All these things are Venus related things. Anything which makes our life convenient is Venus. Venus represents a relationship and wife for a man. It also represents a girlfriend. It also represents ladies itself. Venus is female. So, but the highest significance of Venus is service and devotion. Like I think I told you guys earlier that the lowest signification of Venus is wealth and sex. Middle way of signification of Venus is relationship. The highest significance of Venus is service and devotion. That's why Venus gets exalted in Pisces, a sign of spirituality. So all these things are represented by Venus. Now wherever Venus is transiting in a house or in a sign, it will take these energies of its significance, its karka, that is relationship, wealth, luxury, convenience, to those house and signs, or and it will also take the significance of the two houses it rules. For Cancer ascendant, it rules 4th and 11th house. It will take those significance of 4th house and 11th house into the house it is going. So now we take how a Venus transit can show itself, can manifest itself in different houses for Cancer ascendant person. So like if Venus is in Cancer in your first house, is transiting through your Cancer in first house, it shows that first of all it is a time to a person will be very much concerned about himself, how he looks, how beautiful he looks. He would like to look beautiful in this time. Plus, a relationship can come up because as first house is seventh from the seventh, it is whole home of seventh house, and also Venus aspects back at seventh house. So a relationship, and Venus itself is a relationship, and first house itself. So relationship can come up for the person. It also shows that during this one, now Venus transit is about 20 days, 20 to 23 days. Again, it is a very small window to make a profound prediction. So for Venus also, we need to depend on when Venus is going to retrograde. Whenever Venus goes retrograde, it stays in one sign for about 4 to 5 months. Like Venus was retrograde this year in Pisces, it remained from January to May in Pisces. I remember in 2015 it was retrograde in Virgo, and it remained in Virgo for about 5 months, from July to November, something like this. Then Venus okay. Now again in next year, I guess it will retrograde in Sagittarius. I'm not sure. I have to check, but I think it is going to retrograde in Sagittarius. So again, it will remain in that sign for about 5 months. So whenever Venus retrogrades in a sign, it remains for 5 months and in that sign, and that gives a potential window for making a prediction. So again, these transits which I am going to talk about is only for 20 days. But if Venus gets retrograde in these transits, in these signs, then the intensity will be more, and there will be more potential of seeing the results which I am going to talk about. So again, we start with the Cancer ascendant. Venus is transiting through first house. As I said, person may be very much concerned about himself, how he looks, about his looks, and how beautiful he looks and how beautiful he or she doesn't look. So he will be very concerned about himself. A relationship can come up because Venus itself is the relationship, and ascendant of first house is self. So relationship can come up with this transit. Then fourth house Lord is coming to the first house. Fourth house is mother. Cancer is the sign of mother. So it shows that during this one time you may have very much affection and love towards your mother. You may be may be devoted or serving her like anything in this one about 20 days time, 20 to 22 days. Then 11th Lord is again going into the first house. It shows that your earning income may come to you, but as Venus is an enemy sign, Cancer is an enemy sign for Venus, a person may not be very much fulfilled with that income. Likewise, relationship with the elder sibling or your network circles can be good, can come up for you, but they will not be as good as you expect. There is always a sense of dissatisfaction from a relation. So whenever Venus crosses through these three signs, Cancer, Leo, and Virgo, they come in succession, one after the other, and all these things, all these signs are kind of enemy signs for Venus. Cancer and Leo are enemy signs, plus Virgo is a debilitation sign. So this is a continuous 3-month period, which is quite troublesome for a relationship, any kind of relationship. It is not necessarily husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, but any type of relationship, things can be troublesome if Venus is transiting through these signs, Cancer, Leo, and Virgo. So in Cancer, 11th lord is coming to first house, it shows gains and income are coming to you, but you are not satisfied with those gains and income. Likewise, relationship are coming to relationship of elder sibling and your network circle are coming to you. You are gaining out of them, but you are not happy with the gains. You are not. You think that you are not getting as per your expectations. So, like this person who has Cancer ascendant and Venus is transiting through first house, it will take the energy of 4th and 11th house, and person will get some benefits, but he will feel disappointed with those benefits. Likewise, if we go into the second house, Venus in Leo, first general things, and the Karka things. Venus is a relationship, Leo is sign of love and romance. The person may be very much interested in love and romance in this time. Person may be very much creative in this time. Okay, for creativity is a good. It is a good time because Venus is in Leo. Venus is creativity. Leo is creativity. Fine. But for relationship, again, Venus is in enemy sign. There can be ego battles. Leo is the sign of ego. There can be ego battles, ego conflicts in the relationship. And as it is house of family, family environment may be spoiled due to this ego conflicts. Then fourth lord coming into the second house, it shows that some wealth is coming through your mother or real estate. But again, there is a sense of dissatisfaction from that wealth. Again, it shows your earnings and income are coming from your large organizations or elder sibling, friends. You are gaining from them because 11th lord is going into the second house, so you are gaining from them. But you are not feeling satisfied with those gains. You feel that you should have got more. So whenever Venus is in enemy sign, there will be a feeling of dissatisfaction. Venus going through Virgo, as it is right now. Venus is in Virgo right now, and it is with Mars. So it is a very tough time for a relationship. It is very tough time for relationship for about 20 to 25 days. So be careful. Anyone who is in relationship, either love, romance, or in any general relationship, even mother, son, or brother, sister, there can be some moments of stress and frustration. And as Mars is there with Venus right now, it shows that someone has to take lots of control and patience. So someone has to show lots of patience to keep moving ahead in the relationship. Otherwise, it can lead to fights and conflicts. So be careful in this 20-25 days about your relationship till it reaches Libra. Venus enters into Libra, then things can be things can be good. Hi Tanu, sorry. Hi Chandu Deepika. I am fine. How are you? So like this, Venus transiting through Virgo in third house can give serious troubles in relationship. Venus transiting in Virgo in any house can give serious troubles in relationship. It is not house based because it is debilitated. It is the weakest dignity of Venus. People will have some issues with relationship, and only advice is to control yourself and behave in more matured way, where you can cooperate with others. This is my advice for next 1 month or so. Then Venus rules fourth house, and it is going into the third house. So it shows that matters related to home and matters related to mother may turn into conflicts. So, or you may travel to some distant place so that you are not much in contact with your mother or your homeland. Likewise, 11th Lord going into the third house, it shows that you are taking some travel uh, for the purpose of your gains and desires, but those desires are not fulfilled as per your expectation because Venus is debilitated. So, like this, Venus in Virgo can impact us. It is troublesome. Again, I again say that it is troublesome time for relationship. You need to be careful. Next one month or so. Sorry. Then Venus comes into Libra, fourth house. Now it is a very good Venus. It is sitting in its own sign. It shows during this 1 month period, person can have great relationship with mother. Person can be very much interested in beautification of home. He or she may invest some money in either in real estate or making already already acquired property more beautiful. They can spend in interior designing or things like fridge, AC, vehicles. All these things can be seen from Venus transiting in Libra in fourth house. Again, it shows because 11th Lord is coming into the fourth house, it shows that your earnings are going into the home. Whatever you are earning, whatever you are gaining from 11th house is getting spent in your home, real estate, or making it more beautiful. And then Venus going into the fifth house. It will be in Scorpio. Scorpio is sign of sudden events and ups and downs and chaotic events. Not a good transit for Venus. Again, relationship is going to be hurt. There will be lots of ups and downs. There can be crazy breakups during this time. Means people may abruptly end a relationship because Scorpio is such a sign where anything can happen. So this shows where when Venus is in a Scorpio, again person needs to be very careful in his relationship matters, but it is a good time for creativity. If you have interest in occult and mysticism, this is a very good time because Venus is in a Scorpio. Venus is love and Scorpio is occult and mysticism. So person will automatically feel some love towards occult and mysticism, and if he researches, if he studies it, he may be benefited. Then Venus rules fourth house and coming into the fifth house. It shows that your relationship with your mother can go through a transformation during this time. It shows that your gains from house property or real estate can go through a transformation. So you may need to look after it, and you may invest more intelligently in this time period. 11th Lord going into the fifth house in Scorpio again shows some transformation coming into the relationship with your elder siblings or relationship with your networking circle. You may not have a very good sound relationship during this time, during this 20-25 days. So again, you need to be very careful. Whenever Venus is in bad dignity, in enemy sign debilitation, we need to be very careful about relationship aspect of life. Money will still come because there is a concept of Jiva Karaka and Ajiva Karaka. Jiva Karaka means living significance. Ajiva Karaka means non-living significance. When a planet is in the wrong dignity, living significance get hurt. So relationship can get hurt, but Ajiva Karka, non-living significance, won't get hurt. So money will still come, money will have still be coming to you, but your relationship may be very tough. Fifth house is house of romance. Venus is love, romance itself. Scorpio is sign of sudden events, ups and downs. So your relationship may not be very stable during this time. Then Venus is coming into the sixth house. It will be in Sagittarius. Sagittarius neutral sign for Venus. But sixth house is natural Virgo. Virgo is natural sixth house actually. So Virgo is where Venus gets debilitated. So when Venus comes into the sixth house, again it has that Virgo energy. So Venus doesn't feel much much better in the sixth house. Relationship can go into conflicts because sixth house is a house of conflicts. Your relationship can go into conflicts. You may have some diseases related to sugar, kidney, or urine during this time. Whenever Venus is in sixth house in your birth chart or during transit, these diseases can come up. Then it is still sign of Sagittarius, that is higher education. So you may be very much interested in attaining some higher education, some reading some philosophy, literature, or religious texts. You may be very much interested, but relationship aspect of life is going to be spoiled. Again, it is concept of Jiva Karaka and Ajiva Karaka. So you need to watch out again for relationship. Third thing is that fourth lord is coming to the sixth house. It means energy of mother, home, and homeland is coming into the sixth house, which means that either your mother can have some illness during this time, or you can have some disputes or litigation or conflicts regarding your house properties, because fourth house is coming. Fourth house lord is coming into the sixth house. Likewise, 11th lord coming into the sixth house means your earnings and incomes are going into disputes and conflicts. You are incurring debts. You are incurring some expenses related to litigation, conflicts, or something like that. So this way, again, relationship wise, it may not be very good transit, but and health wise also. But for the purpose of higher education, as Venus is in Sagittarius, this can be a very good transit. If person can dedicate himself for these 20-25 days in higher education, then he may gain out of it. Then Venus goes into Capricorn, the 7th house. Capricorn is a friendly sign for Venus, but it is sign of Saturn. Saturn is friend and not friend for anyone. Saturn doesn't know anyone as friend actually till 35 years of age. So even if Venus and Saturn are friends, the natural significance of Saturn will remain, that is delay, frustration, and limitation. So when Venus is going into the 7th house, as 7th house is related with the relationship, you can get into a relationship during this time. You can have a relationship coming to you, but somehow you may not feel very much inclined towards. You may feel that you are not getting full results of that relationship. You may feel that that relationship is restricted, limited. I will take up all the questions later. It shows that Venus in Capricorn in Saturn rule sign, although it can give relationship, but again, as it is Saturn rule sign, there will be some conflicts and there will be some delay and restriction in that relationship. Also, a relationship with mother can have some limitations and restrictions. You may not feel like 100% communicating with your mother. Same with your network circle or your elder sibling relationship. Your earnings can come through other people, masses, during this time. So earning wise, income wise, again it can be a good transit or average transit, but in relationship matters there can be some issues. There can be it is like that you are in relationship or you got into relationship, but that relationship is not giving full results. Somehow you feel that you can be in better relationship, or even this relationship can go in a better way. So somehow you will feel this restriction. Then Venus goes into 8th house. Whenever Venus is in 8th house in birth chart, or it is in transit, it shows someone who has a secret relationship, or during transit he can marry secretly and never tell anyone about it. It also shows a relationship going through a transformation, that you have a relationship, you break it up, and then you have another relationship. So it is like going from a relationship to another. That is transformation of relationship. Venus in 8th house. Then it is not again not a good transit for relationship, because 8th house has that significance of sudden events, sudden transformation. So suddenly your relationship can turn bad from an average one. Suddenly something can come up and you may have a fight with your partner or something like that. As you can see, the most of the transits are not good for a relationship. That's why relationship is so difficult for anyone. So if you are going through a difficult relationship, then you may take that it is natural for everyone. I rarely saw someone in a good relationship. I'm very sorry to say this, but whatsoever charts I have seen, I rarely saw someone in a good relationship. I can't remember right now if I saw anyone in a good relationship. So if you are going through a mess in relationship, it is common. It is common for everyone, and that's how we need to learn our relationship. Then 4th lord is coming into the 8th house. It shows that you can change your house, change your place of residence in this time, because 4th house is home and 8th house is changes. So you can change your place of residence. It can show that your relationship with mother can go through a transformation. There may be some issues with your relationship with your mother. Same with the relationship with your elder sibling, network circle and all. But at the same time, you can have gains from your research work. 8th house is research work. So it shows that some gains are coming through your research work. Venus is in Aquarius, so if you are in a large organization or working towards helping humanity, you can make good gains out of it. So in other areas of life, it is still a good transit, because Venus is in friendly sign. But in matters of relationship, there will be some issues. There will be some conflicts, some ups and downs, and you need to learn how to deal with those. We all need to learn how to deal with those. Then Venus goes into the 9th house, Pisces. Whenever Venus is in Pisces in birth chart or transit, it shows that person is very much inclined towards higher learning. This person wants to go for religious teaching, philosophical literature, and all these kind of teaching. He is very much interested. He may like to travel a lot. He may love traveling. That is the common significance of Venus in 9th house. These people love traveling. and meeting different ethnicity, different ethnic people. Then they can be highly spiritual also, because Pisces is the sign of spirituality and Venus is exalted here. But again, Venus exalted means person is seeking kind of perfect love, ideal love. Okay, Venus is love and it is exalted. So problem with the Venus exalted people is that they seek ideal love, perfect love, which is not possible in any day and age. In any circumstances, such a such a such a scenario is not possible where you can have a perfect love. So the lesson for Venus in Pisces person is that he should not be too he should not have too much expectations or too much expectation of perfection in relationship. Then they can accommodate very well. It shows that during this transit, or whenever person goes through Venus Mahadasha, if he has Venus in Pisces in ninth house in his birth chart, person may go away from his mother or homeland for a long distance travel. Venus is in ninth house and it is sixth from the fourth. So it can also give some diseases to mother, but it can show that you have some obstacle in communicating with your mother, and that obstacle is because you are traveling to foreign lands, you are traveling to far distant land. It may be foreign, it may be in the same country, but you are traveling to a far distant land, so you are unable to communicate or interact. There are some obstacles. Likewise, this 11th lord coming into the 9th house shows that your earnings and gains are coming from your higher education or people of different ethnicity. But relationship wise, again, there can be some issues with your elder sibling or your network circle. You may be very good in communicating with people. I'm not saying that this person is not good with people in relationship, but the expectations are so high with Venus in Pisces that anything less than that expectation is not good for them. So and this is what they need to learn in relationship. Venus in Virgo and Venus in Pisces is although they are debilitated and exalted, they are exactly opposite, but the end result is the same. Venus in Virgo person also looks for perfection and becomes quite a nitpicky in their partner's fault. Here also the person is very much about perfection or ideal love or dream love or romance, but both the things cannot go at any time. You need to be accommodated and adjusting. Venus in the representation of Venus as service and devotion in Pisces or in any sign is for the same reason that if you are in relationship with someone, you should be devoted to that person. You should not have that much expectation of perfection. Then only your relationship can go better. Venus in 10th house Aries means it is in neutral sign. Now it shows that you are finding your in this about 20 days or 25 days time, you may be very close towards your father. You may have a good relation with your bosses and people in authority, but at the same time that Venus is in neutral sign. So again the feeling of frustration will come because Mars has the Aries is ruled by Mars, and Mars has exactly opposite nature to Venus. Venus is service and devotion. It is about adjustment and compromises, and Mars is about domination. So Venus doesn't feel at home when it is in Mars rule sign, either Aries or Scorpio. So when Venus is in 10th house, you can have good relationship with your father. You can have a good relation at your workplace with your authority and bosses, but that relationship may not be as per your expectations. Again, you may still feel frustrated. You may still feel that there is a domination factor involved from your father or from your authority. Venus is going towards Venus is ruling fourth and going to the 10th. It shows that your work life and home life is almost the same. It shows that you don't have a private time of your own, and your maximum of your time is going at your office during this 20-25 days time. It again shows that your earnings and incomes are coming from your workplace, but those earnings are not as per your expectation. So then, right, it also shows that your elder sibling or your networking circle may help you in your career and workplace, but that help still may not be as per your expectation. So whenever Venus is in enemy sign, debilitation, even neutral like this, the things are not as per expectation. A person feels restricted or frustrated in that scenario. So this is what people need to learn, that we have almost covered 10 transits of 10 positions of Venus, and except one or two situation, everywhere Venus feels frustrated. That's why I'm saying relationships are difficult. It is general. We need to learn how to be in a good relationship, how to be accommodating more and more. Venus going into 11th house, it shows good relation with your networking circle, your elder sibling, and you are getting good gains. It shows that you are leaving your homeland to a far distant land and for making gains there. It shows that your gains are coming from your mother. You are gaining something out of from your mother, and that is expanding your wealth. It is a good transit. So Venus is only good in two transits, I would say. First is when it is with Libra, Venus in Libra, and Venus in Taurus. Otherwise, every transit, although there can be some friendly signs also like Capricorn, Aquarius, but every transit signifies some frustration, some limitations into the result. Only two transits are good for Venus, and that is Taurus and Libra, own signs. Venus in Gemini is also a good transit because Venus is in friendly sign, and Gemini doesn't have that nature of Gemini's Lord Mercury. It doesn't have that nature of Saturn, which is another friend of Venus. So when Venus is in Gemini, it is a good transit because Mercury and Venus are quite similar in nature, creativity wise, and it means they are both creative planets. They are both skillful, and they like each other company very much. So when Venus is in Gemini, it is a good transit. It shows your traveling to foreign lands or spiritual places in 12th house. It shows your gains from foreign lands. Even if you are spending money, those spendings are more in the business or as an investment. It is not overspending or being a spendthrift when Venus is in Gemini in 12th house. You can be spending. I am not saying that you won't be spending, but those spending will be meaningful, logical, because it is in a friendly sign, and the sign itself represents business. So you may be investing in those by those spendings. it may make you very much interested in collecting information about spirituality or foreign lands or foreign people, and you will be very much interested towards gaining access to foreign lands. You may, as I said, you may be traveling. Again, fourth lord going into the 12th house, fourth lord going into the 12th house shows that you are leaving your homeland to go to the foreign land. 11th lord going into the 12th house shows your elder sibling may travel to foreign lands. It shows that your earnings and gains are coming to foreign lands. But 12th house is still house of losses. Whenever a planet is in 12th house, it shows kind of loss of that house and that planet related things. So relationship wise, it is still a tough situation. Understand, 12th house is house of loss. Okay, any planet going there is in the house, in the bucket of loss. Now if you want to gain out of that bucket or that planet, you have to make an extra effort to gain out of it. So whenever any planet is in 12th house, it is to start life, it is the case of loss. Now to gain out of it, you need to make an extra effort to gain any result from the things related to that planet. Venus relationship, it is going into loss. It is in 12th house. Now to gain any benefit out of relationship, you have to be double accommodating. You have to be double adjusting, like this. Moon in the 12th house, loss of mother, loss of emotions. Now to gain out of your mother, from your mother, you have to put extra effort in your relationship with mother. Sun, loss of authority, loss of ego. To feel confident, to feel important in life, authoritative, you have to put lots of effort in sun related things. Like this, any planet going into the 12th house is loss of that planet to start the life. Now to gain out of it, even if it is exalted, to gain out of it, you have to make a double effort. Even if Jupiter is exalted, but it is in 12th house, it is loss of your belief system, your moral values, and all these things. Although Jupiter is exalted, but it is still in the house of losses. Jupiter represents husband. I have seen many cases where Jupiter is in 12th house. It is exalted, but people still went through separation. So because Jupiter represents husband, marriage and children, so they had to go through that. So that's what I am saying, that even if planet is exalted in 12th house, it is considered as a loss factor, and person may have to work very hard to make any gain out of it. So like this, any transit of Venus, as we have seen, in all the 12 houses, 12 signs, only two houses and two places are there where Venus was kind of good, positive. That is, Venus is in Libra and Venus is in Taurus. That's it. Two houses. All the other 10 houses, 10 signs, Venus is suffering some sort of drawback. There is some sort of limitation. There is some sort of restriction, frustration in the relationship. And that's why relationships are very difficult. That's why things are very difficult when it comes to relationship, marriage, before marriage, after marriage, whatever. That's why relationships are very difficult, because the karka of marriage, that is Venus, the karka of relationship, that is Venus, is not happy in any sign except the two signs. That is Taurus and Libra. If Venus is in Gemini in any other house, we can include that also, 3 signs. But in 9 other signs, it is feeling some difficulty, some issues. And right now we are not even looking at the conjunctions which Venus may have. If Venus is in Ketu's nakshatra, Venus is in Rahu's nakshatra, that is a different thing altogether. If we include those things, then it is almost 100% case that Venus is not happy anywhere. Okay, so that's why relationship becomes very difficult, and that's why I feel that the random way of horoscope matching and deciding about marriage should be gone away with. We should not uh, check horoscopes or match horoscopes in just few minutes time, and based on some numbers given points given due to Ashtakut. That doesn't work anymore. Ashtakut, as I said, is not a wrong system, but its application in this day and age is very wrong. We can't decide relationship on the basis of just a few numbers given here and there. We have to look at the all the aspects of relationship and how every relationship related planets are placed in the horoscope of both the sides, and then we can decide if they can be good couple or not. Otherwise, it is a tough time for relationship, because earlier these things earlier in the 20th century, up to the 20th century, the disputes or conflicts in relationship never used to come up. People never used to talk about it openly. Those things used to remain inside the house. But those days are over, and people are more and more accepting the fact of divorce and separation, breakups. So that's why things are now looking. We are thinking that now relationships are very tough. Relationships were very tough earlier also, but people won't used to speak about those things. Earlier they used to keep quiet. Now they are not ready to keep quiet. That's why relationships are more visibly difficult. Okay, so that's why I feel that we should be more careful in deciding about marriage and relationship things rather than just checking it randomly through any horoscope matching system. I again say horoscopes will never match. I give you guarantee, get me any two horoscopes which are matched and people have got married. I can tell you how their horoscopes are not matching and what difficulties they are facing today in their relationship. Okay, horoscopes will never match, I guarantee you. Okay, so this is how Venus transit in any house will impact our life. Now the next one will be about Jupiter transit. Now we come to the planets which have the bigger transits, transit time. That is, Jupiter will be about 13 months time. Then Jupiter, Rahu Ketu will be of 18 months time, and Saturn will be of about 2.5 year time. So this is the crux of the transits and the events. This is where we actually can make a profound prediction, because they are going to stay in one sign for a very long time. So they will give some concrete results whenever they are staying in one sign for a long time. So this is the most important section of reading the transits of Jupiter, Saturn, Rahu, and Ketu. This is also why a negative prediction is more possible to manifest. What I am saying, that if I give you a positive prediction of about marriage or childbirth or something like that, it may or may not come true. But if I give you a negative prediction of meeting with an accident, or having a surgery, or having a health issue, or seeing a conflict in relationship, there is a more possibility that these negative predictions will be manifested, because these negative predictions are based on Saturn, Rahu, and Ketu, and their transits are the lengthiest transits. When I am speaking about these predictions, I am basing my predictions on these lengthy transits. So even in this 1.5 years time, 2.5 years time, this is a long period. Anything can happen, right? So that's why negative predictions come true more regularly rather than a positive rate. It is kind of sad, but it is the way it is. So next will be on Saturday or Sunday. Sunday, I guess. Saturday, I have some calls. So Sunday, I will do Jupiter transit for Leo ascendant people. Then, right. We have two questions here. Third Lord Venus in 4th house. If it is in transit, it is in a birth chart, it shows third Lord Venus is in 4th house. Now it can be in Gemini or it can be in Scorpio. So if it is in Gemini, it shows a very good relation with mother. It shows a person who wants to decorate his home very well. He wants to beautify his home very well and take care of his home. It also shows us it also shows someone who can be in home-based business. If Venus is in Gemini in 4th house, the person can be running his own business from his home or private offices. 4th house also represents private offices. So because third lord is coming into the 4th house, third business and 4th is home. Home and business are connecting. Gemini is the sign of business. So person can be in business from his home. Business may relate to Venus related things like beauty, luxury, conveniences, or he may be providing some services to other people because Venus also rules the 8th house of serving other people. So it can be a business related to providing some services to other people. Then Venus, if for Leo ascendant person, Venus rules 3rd house, and then it is in 4th house. Then also it represents someone who is in business from his home, but this business can be related with the occult and mysticism because Venus will be in a Scorpio. It is a troublesome position for someone who is in relationship. It is a very troublesome position for a relationship, especially in early life. Venus in a Scorpio in 4th house. Venus also rules 10th house here, so it makes a bigger possibility that this person may be into business related with occult mysticism. But a relationship will have lots of ups and downs. They can go through 2 or 3 breakups before they finally settle down in their life. But even then, there can be some issues. But at the same time, they can be very passionate in love. Venus placed 1st house lord of 2 and 9th, Virgo ascendant. Lord of 2nd and 9th and Virgo ascendant currently in Venus Mahadasha. What are impacts he can see? So question is that if Venus is in Virgo in 1st house, okay, it is ruling 2nd and 9th. Okay, so wealth-wise, the person can gain wealth out of any financial transaction, any financial related business. He can be very good in analysis and details. He can be gaining wealth out of stock markets, any financial business, accounting. Accountancy is most common when Venus is in Virgo or Mercury is in Virgo. I'm sure Mercury would be nearby Venus if it is not in the same sign. It shows good gains from any financial related things. Then Venus, it shows good gains from the person's higher education or people of different ethnicity. But somehow this is not a good situation for relationship. Mercury in third house, Libra. Okay. Mercury can be in the second house, not in the third house. So it causes this Parivartan Yoga between Mercury and Venus. Here Mercury and Venus are in Parivartan Yoga. Any financial business can be done. Okay, the person can achieve good wealth through any financial business, because business is Mercury, Venus is finance. Any finance related business can be good for this person. He can gain out of people of different ethnicity and higher education. The stock market is one of the avenues, shares and all the mutual funds, all these things he can invest and gain out of it. But for relationship, it is a tough position. Venus in Virgo in birth chart. Relationship wise, this person may have to work really hard to make his relationship work. So this is the way I see. Tomorrow is Deepavali. Happy Diwali to all of you. And I will try to make a small video tomorrow evening after Deepavali Puja. Hope to see you all. I will keep you informed about a small video. It is not for astrological purpose, just Happy Diwali video. Okay. So hope you have a good time in this festive season. Happy Deepavali to you, your family. Enjoy your time and be prepared for 2018 now. Thank you.